Alright, so we know it's been about a year.
And we're very sorry that we haven't done anything in a while, but busyness happens. Schedules don't always work out. And
Life happens. Laziness happens.
The important part is that we're back.
We did get a microphone. Hopefully you can hear us. There's a difference.
Yeah, so, today we're going to be talking about a movie that just came out, done by Sony and Netflix.
As you can tell by the title and thumbnail.
Yeah, today we're talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. Which, I know I at least saw some stuff of, and thought that it looked kind of like a neat idea, and thought it would be something cool I wanted to watch, and I think maybe Megan kind of thought something similar.
Yeah, I had seen, like, one or two, like, gift sets on Tumblr about it, and I was like, hey, I really like this animation style. Maybe I'll give it a watch. If you had just come up to me with the title K-pop Demon Hunters, I probably would have looked at you and be like, are you crazy? It would have ironically been about the same expression as I would have given someone who had told me that Kung Fu Panda was a real movie that was actually really good. And similarly, this is also an excellent movie.
This movie absolutely blew me away. I came out of it being like, man, didn't know I could fall in love with a movie, because
You didn't know that?
not to the full extent that I have with this movie.
That's
Because
interesting.
especially as like a standalone right now, I'm really hoping that they do like a sequel or a miniseries or something, because please. But also,
if you're listening to this, Tony.
Also, want to get this out of the way, there are going to be spoilers.
Yes.
So if you have not seen the movie yet,
Stop
here, pause it, go watch the movie. It's incredible. Couldn't recommend it enough. And then come back and listen to us yap about it, because I could talk about this for a full probably like 5 hours.
I think we both just watched this yesterday.
Yeah.
I take longer to process things, so
I've already gone full obsession.
Yes,
so hyper-fixating, listening to the soundtrack a ton, because I love like all of the music from this movie. On its own, this would not be a movie that would draw me in. This is not a kind of movie that would be like super my style, but I think this movie very much speaks to being that animation is not children's movies.
Yes.
This was a very mature movie that had very mature themes.
I mean, there's definitely still like the classic like anime art style with like the.
But it was like smoother, a little softer.
Yeah, but you still had like some of like the childish classic, like the hard eyes and the.
I think it kind of gave it a cute touch that you don't really see as much anymore. But yeah, we have a whole lot that we want to talk about. This might end up getting...
Victoria does. I came in here with zero plan.
I have my little notebook open and ready of stuff that I want to talk about, because there is a lot I want to talk about. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, pause it, go watch it, and if you have seen it, then...
Enjoy.
This might end up getting split into multiple parts, because part is going to be yapping for a really long time, and we don't want to make you guys sit through a 4-hour
3-hour
session of us just talking about this movie and how much we enjoyed it and our thoughts on it. So,
which means also, because we did just watch this yesterday and have had no time to sort out our thoughts,
we might ramble.
This will be a lot of probably repeating ourselves and mass hysteria.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the major thing that I feel like was like the heart and soul of this movie were the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
most movies, or at least it should be.
But these characters to me very stood out as being very human, and which is ironic because there's demons, but they made them so 3-dimensional, and they had so much to them, and the way that they were animated too, which we'll talk about that later, but the way they're animated made them so real, despite the fact that it is animation. And obviously, there's the 3 girls of Huntrix, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, but even like some of the other side characters, obviously Junu, because he's one of the biggest players in the movie, but even just the little stuff they did with the other Saja boys, Celine, Bobby, like they really made.
But I actually ended up standing Bobby, and I did not.
I do love him. It's kind of hard. Like you'd have to kind of be like heartless not to like Bobby, because he doesn't do anything in the movie that makes you dislike him.
I think his role being the. What's the term I want? Manager, yeah, I guess, of the Huntrix. Like,
also, as clarification, Megan doesn't really listen or know much of anything about K-pop.
I actually.
She likes, like, 2 BTS songs. I definitely am a little more involved in K-pop and listen to some. I wouldn't say that I'm a, like, massive fan of it, but I do know a little bit more about it, and
I also don't know
more appreciation for it, I think, than Megan maybe does.
I also don't know anything about music in general, so.
I fake it till I make it, but sound like I know about stuff about music, so.
But Bobby in the manager role, I feel like the manager role is generally, like they're a little smarmy and,
they're probably trying to con them out of something.
Yeah, they're
like Bobby
suspect.
says, he's taking 3% of their earnings, which is a very small cut.
Yeah.
But he still cares so much for the girls, and,
he, like, genuinely loves them, and you can, like, see that.
And even when it's, like, kind of, like, stressing him out to the point of, like, he's about to, like, spiral, he still is, like,
letting them do what
they need to do to, like, and
yeah.
he doesn't know that they're demon hunters, so he's just like, oh, they're just, like, being late, or, like, still getting ready or something, but he's still fighting for them, he's still on their side, and I just love him. I also love that we started off time at the carriage with Bobby.
Yeah.
So I do feel like we needed to talk about Rumi as the main character. I really liked her setup. She was a very intricate character. She had a very basic of a lot of the time the main characters have an insecurity that will then probably end up causing a conflict of some kind later on in the movie, as it did in this case with.
Also, Kung Fu Panda with Po.
Yeah. The major thing, and I actually liked that they didn't, like, reveal it, like, latter half of the movie. Like, very early on, they introduced that Rumi was part demon. And I actually liked how early they displayed that, which makes sense for Rumi because she's constantly thinking about it. She's constantly stressed about it. It makes sense for it to be something that's focused on and addressed so early in the movie because it's so important to her. If they can do all the talking.
You're doing a great job.
You can talk more. And also that they touch on, like, her history. Her mom was a former demon hunter, and she was taken care of by Celine.
Yeah, her dad was a demon.
Yeah, listen, there's hope for all of us, though. Because sitting here, I'm like, you know, Rumi obviously cares a lot, not just about being looked down on or being feared or anything like that. It's not just the fear of the judgment, it's also that she cares so much about these people and she hates what she's part of because her whole life she's been
fighting against that
and told basically, like, this is a horrible thing, they all need to die, and then she meets Genu and
he's hot.
And not only is he really attractive and charming, but he also has a vulnerability to him, and his ability to talk about his patterns in a way that she's probably never even considered, couldn't even fathom,
right.
I think is kind of what caught her a little off guard in regards to him, as well as also, you know, his amazing good looks. So.
I will say, I really appreciate that this movie had Rumi and Genu growing closer together in, like, a realistic way.
Enemies to lovers.
Best trope. But, I feel like so often in these kind of stories where it's the, like, enemies to lovers, but it tends to feel, like, forced, where, like, you know, the one character is softening and, like, realizing that this other person may not be as bad as they seem. I feel like often it feels fake to me. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't really buy that. But I feel like in this, it makes sense why she would start, like, lowering her walls and stuff. I just thought they did a really good job, like, layering.
Because, again, he has a very disarming charm. And not necessarily in a bad way, because he does end up being I don't know if I want to say good, but he has a chance to be selfless, and he takes it because he does end up really caring about Rumi.
Right.
And I could sob about him for years. But he also, like, I love that his introduction to her in the movie is he accidentally bumps her, and she, like, the classic, like, funny animated thing. And at this point, she's already seen him, and, like, there's, like, the romantic music in the background as he's, like, in glowing light and everything, and he bumps her, and her stuff goes, like, toppling out of her hands, and she's falling in slow motion.
The classic.
And he turns, like, he's gonna go help her up, and she starts reaching, and he just comes and brushes off his shoulder, and he's like, watch yourself. And that immediately kicks off, where she's like, and all of them, they're like, they're stupidly attractive, but, like, they're demons, so they gotta go. But,
I didn't think they didn't know.
At the time, they didn't know they were demons. They found that up during, part of Soda Pop. Which I could also talk about for years, because that song lives rent-free in my brain. Yeah, my sister can attest, because I hum it everywhere.
I'll remind you that she watched this movie yesterday.
Yes. But Rumi also, I really liked that she gave him a chance. Like, when he sent the note to her.
Shout out to Tiger, by the way.
His name's Derpy.
That's fair.
Like, he sends this note, and most people, if you're sent a note by a demon that you know is a demon, and are on opposite sides of, you probably wouldn't actually, I don't know, because, I mean, he did look like that. Yeah. But she gives him a chance, and later she tries to get him to throw the Idol Awards performance, because she believes that if they win, then she'll be able to close the barrier, she'll be able to get rid of her patterns, and save not only herself from having to confess to her other bandmates that she's part demon, but she's also giving him a chance. She's saying, hey, it could help you too.
Yeah. I do really wonder, which, I mean, is a testament to the writing, what would have happened if they did, like, the Sasha Boys did throw the
Idol
the
Awards?
tournament, like, how that would have affected the story, and also how the story would have changed if Rumi had confessed to Mira and Zoe that she was part demon. Like, what would have changed?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously actions have consequences, and the choices that the characters made or didn't make, what was, I mean, realistic with their goals and fears and whatnot, so, I mean, totally understandable. Good writing. Shout out whoever wrote this.
Because what I really like, too, is, I think there's a very big focus on how selfless versus selfish you are in this film.
Yeah.
It was a very heavy focus of it with Rumi. It's the selfishness of focusing so much on closing this barrier because she wants her patterns gone. She doesn't want to be part demon anymore. She doesn't want people to see that of her. For Genu, he's selfish. He wants to get rid of those memories of the choices that he made 400 years ago when he abandoned his family. Like, he's willing to do what Wima wants for the sake of himself. He's not doing it for anyone but himself. He wants to stop having, I mean, he says he wants to stop living this miserable, painful life. Because, Rumi's like, that demons can't feel, and he's like, this is all they do. All they do is feel. And they're bound by their guilt and their doubt, and they want so badly to fix it that they make a little more selfish decisions, and it comes back and bites them. But at the end of the movie, it's great because you get to see Rumi makes a selfish choice of, she goes out and she sings, she tries to save these people even though they already know that she's part demon. And she's like, and yeah, you could give the argument of, like, she's lost everything, or she feels like she's lost everything, but she still goes back.
Her whole story, honestly,
her arc was beautiful.
Was so good, and the animation surrounding it
blended so well. Same thing with Genu.
The voice actress, excellent job with, like, bring forth the emotion and really setting, I guess, like, the mood and emotion, just because, like, she sounded, when she was talking to Gluma, like, she sounded hopeless at first, and then you got, like, that switch, like, when her eyes were back to her. It was so cool. Obsessed.
But at the end of the movie, then for Genu, he gets to make the choice to sacrifice himself for at least Rumi, but through that, everyone else. And
As redemption.
I am a firm believer of there's a chance of him coming back because I've seen stuff, and from watching the movie myself, I'm like, I think there's a chance he'd come back. Really hope that there's a sequel.
I feel like he was a popular enough character that
it'd be very unwise to kill him off permanently.
The fans would riot in the streets.
But I really liked the depth that they gave her of how much this has tortured her for how long. And I also like that Mira and Zoe, they also have issues. They're not as focused on because they're not the main characters, but even their, like, without outright saying it, of, like, when Mira got really suspicious of Rumi because she's like, hey, you're hiding stuff from me, which she was
Fair.
hiding the fact that she was half demon, she was hiding that she was meeting up and trying to work with Genu, like,
she was physically hiding
a
giant tiger.
and
the bird,
Sussy,
whatever the bird's,
Sussy, I think.
sure.
But, like, they're still as three-dimensional, it's just not as focused on.
Right.
Because they're not the main characters. And that's fine, because, like,
that's
obviously
good.
you get the most insight to Rumi, but secondary to that you get Genu, Mira, and Zoe.
It gives them depth what am I saying? It gives them depth to make them, like, realistic, but not so much to the point where it distracts from Rumi and Genu and the plot.
But it shows, like, Mira was kind of the outcast of her family. She was kind of considered, like, a quote-unquote wild thing. And she doesn't trust people. She has a really hard time trusting people. She's kind of aggressive. Which, pop off. Happy for you, queen. But it makes it hard sometimes for her to interact with some people because they don't understand her the way that Zoe and Rumi do. And Zoe, a lot of people can think she's kind of too much or too little, and I also like that...
That was a really good, by the way.
I like that Guima, they showed him trying to turn them, I guess, draw them, he brought them to the Saja Boys concert, for Your Idol, but, that they gave them that moment instead of just, off screen they got tempted or whatever and just ended up there. I'm glad that they actually gave that insight of, hey, this is what's going on with these characters, even if we haven't given them a ton of time on this.
Yeah, and that, it does show, what the characters are going through and how this, the breakup has affected them. Even Bobby was, And it shows, it shows their values as well.
You see a whole bunch of hints to it, examples of it in the movie. It's just not really strongly broadcast because that's not how it works in real life. In real life, it just passes from moment to moment. You're not, going to every conversation going, hey, I have trust issues. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine?
It's just one of those things of, I think they did a really good job of making these characters human, making them very real. And I liked that. Yeah. I also liked that...
They didn't overload you with the characters' flaws. It wasn't every time they were on screen, they're like, woe is me.
I also really liked, especially for the girls, that they made them... They're still girls. Mm-hmm. They're demon hunters, and they're K-pop idols, but they're still just girls. They still...
Just vibe. They want to sit on
the couch. They
still
just want to sit on the couch and eat food and just sit and do nothing and everything. And also just the way that, they'll be yeah, we want to do this thing, and all of them are getting really hyped on each other, all making these crazy faces and everything without making them look oh, we have to make sure all of our characters look nice and pretty and perfect all the time. They got to look using that good animation and really lending into the different kinds of the culture of having that kind of animation, the more anime style. They got to really lean into they're people, and they're doing what people do of when you're hanging out with your friends and you're all going kind of crazy with each other and everything. I just thought it was a really fun touch. And even still with Gino definitely the most, but again, because he's the main boy out of the Soulja Boys. You also get to see that
Did you say Soulja Boy?
Soulja Boys. That he's kind of a goof. He's a little bit of a loser because he's old.
It's
like
funny.
him being like, yeah, enjoy that, and then he slips on a puddle, and he's like, oh jeez, like you know what I mean?
Like, it's funny because like it's this group of like demons, and they become K-pop idols. It's like okay, whatever, and then
and they're all like pristine and attractive,
and they're slick and stuff.
everything.
And then later you see Gino get like scared, and he's running away like a dingus. And
yeah, it's like and then the running away, the hee like
that's so odd.
It makes them so much more full of a character, because also like with Gino doing this, because yeah, they're doing the enemies to lovers thing, and
Kind of.
he is the antagonist at that point, but they're still making him funny and relatable and an actual character instead of basically just an obstacle. Or making him too quote unquote villainy, where he ends up just like you don't want them together except for maybe aesthetic wise, because there's nothing to him other than the fact that he's a villain and he's sitting there like stroking his evil cat, like you know what I mean? Like it gives him more of a soul, which is another huge aspect of this movie. And how important it is that people be themselves and also be careful with what they do with themselves, because you matter and you don't want to lose who you are at your core. It makes sense that they didn't, but I'm kind of sad that they didn't go more on the Soulja Boys, because the only one that really had much dialogue other than Gino was Abby.
It wasn't even much.
Who
Like
was
4 lines, maybe.
who was also lovely. I'm a huge fan of him. But then they definitely gave you some, like, Mystery just barking out of nowhere at the fan sign.
I don't remember this.
You remember Mystery barking?
I must have blacked out.
Because Zoe, like, hit him with the pen or the marker, whatever it was, and she was like, "Bad Soulja Boy."
Oh, maybe.
And then he pouted at her. He straight up pouted.
So odd.
But, like, they didn't give a whole lot to romance, mystery, or baby. They're definitely more of the background, and Abby was too. It's just they gave him a little bit more just because basically they're filling stereotypes. Hopefully if they do a sequel or a series, they'll be able to do some more with them.
I actually have no idea how long this movie even took to, like, make. Like, I have no idea when they started it. Because I didn't hear anything about it until, like, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. But despite the fact that they didn't have a whole lot, like, going on with them, like, they still gave them character.
They were still fun to watch.
Like, because Baby obviously was the poking at people for some reason treating grown adult Asian men in these bands like they're children, and he was basically kind of the rebellion to that of him having like this really deep voice and being like the rapper of the band, and him basically just, you know, his one line is a deep goo goo gaga. So I mean, just
What a sentence.
And, like, romance was, you know, the sweet lover boy kind of thing. Abby was the looks of basically being, like, the one everyone wants to go and just at least see because he's the looker. And usually you have one that's, like, the mysterious one, which obviously would be Mystery. Like, they were very on the nose about it, which is fine, because then, like, it works. It's fine.
Sometimes the audience needs on-the-nose things.
Yeah. But despite the fact how little, not exactly screen time, but how little focus they got, I still really loved all of these characters, and loved how they got to use them. Like, the fan sign event is the best time you got to see all of them
interact,
being them. Like, they got to actually be themselves, and you got to see how they interact with other people. Like, the entirety of the romance, Mira and Abby collection of things was literally just comedic gold. I fell in love with that scene. But it was just great to see how they interact, because you're seeing Rumi and Gino because they're the focus of the film. But like, even like Zoe, when she was like, "I'm not sitting next to no Soulja Boy," and then it's Mystery sitting next to her, and she's like, "Oh, what's up?" Like, it's just like, it's funny because you get
Zoe's
to see.
adorable. I love her.
We do love Zoe in this house. She's
I
lovely.
really like them all, because I often feel like in like trios or groups, there's very clearly
A favorite.
a favorite and very clearly like a least favorite, like the one that kind of just like the butt of everyone's jokes and no one really cares about.
Honestly,
or
out
just
of the
but-
3 of the Huntrix girls, I don't really think I can come up with a least favorite or a favorite. I love them all very equally.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rumi was my favorite. She had the most. She's my favorite character. She had the most depth. You know.
Yeah, Megan's favorite character was
Her
Rumi.
design was sick.
Mine was Ginu, so we're the yin and yang. We balance, so it's fine.
Why was Ginu your favorite Victoria?
Very compelling character and very compelling looks. But from like talking about characters, then kind of bleeds into like relationships, and I love the dynamic between like every character that touches the screen together.
Yeah.
Because
Everyone feels very natural.
yeah, it's just obviously the major points of the film were the Huntrix girls, Rumi and Ginu. Those were the big focus. But even just like the little ones, like we already touched on with like Bobby with the girls and how much he cares about them, despite like he's just the manager. But
And even also, what's the woman that was taking care of Rumi? Celine. She probably handled the situation with Rumi poorly, but you can tell why she did it. You know,
Mhm.
like we don't agree with it, but we understand where she came from, and so we don't like dislike her for it, or we don't. I will not speak for you, but
But it's definitely, you get to see how much these characters affect one another, how much they care about each other. Like, they mentioned multiple times between Rumi, Mira, and Zoe that they'll get through stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And they're constantly checking in on each other, like, you okay? We can take a break. Like, they obviously care so much about each other, and they care about
Yeah.
not just, like, oh, we're demon hunters who, like, have to get this done, we have to work together because that's how it's always been. Like, no, they care about each other as people. Like, they're really upset that Rumi won't go with them to the bathhouse because they want to include her in something. And they're like, hey, why are you ditching us for this? Obviously, they don't know that she has demon patterns, but they still can't, like, even, they're literally hunting down the Saja boys. And they're like, we're in a bathhouse with Rumi. We did it.
Mission
then-
accomplished.
And then it's the immediate of, like, okay, now we have to, like, pay attention because the Saja boys are here and also water demons. So, like, but just that little thing of them being like, hey, we did it, to bring to the attention of how their dynamic really fits.
Right.
I also love that at the end of the movie, it's not just Rumi that saves the day as
Yes.
the main character. It's all 3 of them. That's the point, is that it's all 3 of them. And I think that's great because, again, this movie also focuses a lot on unity.
Yep.
And the impact of unity and the damage of isolation. Because when you are together, you are stronger. There's a reason that there
A
are...
house divided will stand, or a house divided will fall.
There's a reason that there are so many idioms out there talking about how unity is very important and you're stronger together.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are isolated, like in the case of Rumi, the further away she isolated herself, the faster Huntrix cracked. And she herself cracked.
Yep, physically.
The further and further Ginu got from isolating himself from his own past, the more damaged he got. Because of the sense of him giving up hope for anything. He just got to the point where he's like, there's no way to fix this, so I just want to forget it. He didn't... The way he wanted to move on wasn't helping him. So, like, in the song Free, he says that basically he's given up hope. And he shows isolation. He's by himself. He rarely interacts with the other demons aside from the Saja boys when they're all together. You never see him milling around. Like, when he first shows up, he's standing up on the gate by himself. Like, I don't know, I always get the impression that he's kind of a loner.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the Saja boys were only there because he needed their help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like they're all buddies, like...
He couldn't do a one-person boy band. But, and again, also, like, despite the fact that they're not in it a ton, or not a huge focus point, all of the Saja boys together, like, they just mix. It
They
just
vibe.
works. Like, you don't get a ton on them just because, you know, it's...
It kind of makes me curious about, like, how the demons interact with each other. Like, I mean, you see some of it, I guess, in whatever demon realm they're in.
But we know that some of the demons, like, fell in love with soda pop. To the point where even Guima was, like, vibing. He was like, what? It's catchy.
Yeah. I do also wonder what... Because, like, Ajinu was a person before he became a demon. And, like, he still has, like, human looks. What about the other demons? Like, were they all people too and just, like, went, like, too far, like, beyond saving? Or...
I don't know if there is a answer or science to that.
Yeah, I don't know if the writers know, to be honest.
Yeah, they could have just decided... Because, I mean, it seems like almost every demon has a human form. Because there was a bunch that had human forms on the plane in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
I
totally did not see that coming, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did as soon as they poured the coffee into the plant.
I just kind of assumed that they were just, like, overwhelmed or scared of, like, how, like, Huntrix, you know?
Oh, like having, like, the celebrities on the plane
Yeah.
thing? Yeah. No, I was like, no, there's something. You do not even under that much stress should a flight attendant be pouring coffee into a plant.
You made every flight attendant that's done that.
I'm so sorry to the flight attendants that have possibly poured coffee into plants. I did not mean that. One of the things that I also was really dwelling on and thinking about, moving off of Saja Boys, but moving on to the relationship between Celine and Huntrix, because I thought it was honestly very sad that they felt like if you have, like, emotions or issues, you have to hide it.
Yeah, I'm not
like, she
quite
trained
sure.
them, I think, in the way, like, it's a very classic thing, I feel like, for...
Conceal, don't feel.
Yeah, for, like, especially, like, the sensei or the master or whatever who's training you in your art, at least in, like, film and media, to be, like, basically emotion is a weakness and you have to just keep it down.
Don't be fazed by anything.
To the point where then it makes them...
It's a spiral. It
makes them isolate because they are... Because, like, Rumi couldn't talk about this stuff because Celine was like, you can't let anyone know who you are. And then when they go to the doctors and...
If that's what you're calling it?
He's like, the scam artist, whatever he is, I don't know.
I don't remember the dude's name.
And he's like, you have walls up. It's...
Yeah, what's that guy's deal? I'd watch a prequel about him.
I'd read, like, a comic about him. I don't know if I'd watch the whole thing on it, but...
They're just, like, a short.
But, like, the walls were built up because of Celine's teaching. And she obviously cared about Rumi, and she cares about the girls, but her direction was wrong. Her...
She was acting out of fear, mostly, I would say.
Yeah, not out of love, which is...
I mean, there was some of both, but...
Yeah.
You know.
Going back to big focus of the movie is Rumi and Ginu and their relationship, and sobbing in a corner every night.
They had some really good scenes. Like, their chemistry was so good.
They were the couple of the year, in my personal opinion.
Did you check that?
Yeah. There's a term, match made in heaven, and they fit the bill.
This is actually a match made in heck, because one's a demon, one's half demon.
But, like, just the fact of they fit each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like, almost perfect counterparts to each other. Because they're both kind of goofy and have their moments of being kind of losers.
Yeah.
But they also have...
They can be very competent and
very charming, and they both have a lot of, like, history.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
And also, like, where Ginu helps Rumi to pull out of her fear of talking about her patterns. Like, basically, if she ignores them, they're not real. With him helping her with that, she also helps him with having hope again. And learning how to be selfless and how to love someone again. I love them so much.
Yeah.
They had such a good relationship. Every one of their scenes, the scene where she confronts him on his betrayal.
That was so sad.
She doesn't even, like, she's like, you're still a good person. Like, she's not
Yeah.
doing the thing of, like, it's the huge blow up and, like, she
The
just gives
180.
up on him. She's still fighting for him.
Yeah.
Despite
Which I feel
what
like
happened.
I feel like it's so uncommon. There's actually a lot in this movie that felt like a very
It was a breath of fresh air for
very
me.
refreshing change of pace. It was original, guys.
We did it.
It wasn't a sequel or a live action remake.
It was just their relationship. If I could give like a descriptor for it, their relationship is beautiful. It is absolutely incredible to see how these characters match, and even
The growth that they go through together, like because of the other.
Mm-hmm. And also just the fact of like, they now basically like share the cat.
Yes.
Like, he literally
We stand.
has his cat take her home, like, because evidently he can like float
Teleportation?
or walk on like the air thing. But like,
The air thing.
well, because it's like little pads under his feet. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
he's just flying or floating. One of my favorite visuals for this movie, which is a bold statement,
That is
but
very
hear me
bold
out,
statement.
was right as they finished Your Idol, Rumi comes in and you only hear her voice. And it's vocalization, she's not actually singing anything yet.
Mm-hmm. Which
But
did slap.
but the look on Jinu's face, the look in his eyes, he recognized that voice and you knew what it meant.
I'm also obsessed with the fact
This
that
boy yearns and I live for that.
obsessed with the fact that, like, when, you know, Rumi's coming in and stuff, and I forget if I think the other Huntrix girls joined her at that point. All of the rest of the Saj boys except Jinu, like, all, like, jump out ready to fight, and bro's just standing there, like, well,
He can't bring
well.
himself to fight her anyway.
It's so good, guys.
He would never have been able to. I truly believe that, especially at that point. Because even it felt like kind of when he was fighting her in the bathhouse scene, I feel like he wasn't really, like, he wasn't really going for it. He was like, cause especially like him like sitting there like giggling, like, I'm like, you're, like, but, and
That was
again,
a really good scene.
that was also a very good scene. But like, again, like, he balances very well, they both balance very well between being real and still being able to be serious and silly.
Yep.
And competent and incompetent. Like, the fact, like, we brought it up already, but Jinu slipped on water. Running away. Like, scary demon, and he tripped on water. Like, it's just... And
It
it's...
really is just a dude.
I absolutely love their dynamic, because they do, like, even when, like, they're in their human form, and they're in front of people, so they have to kind of, like, watch what they're doing. Like, she stomps on his foot, and he gives the full, like, ow thing. Like, he doesn't even, like, the thing of, like, oh, like, basically you can't hurt him. No, that stomp on the foot probably hurt. Like, but also even when they're going back and forth between, like, winning the top artist, because at first Savage Boys won, and then Huntrix
Yeah,
won.
those looks.
The looks they were giving each other, basically like the, alright,
Yeah, fair enough.
we're still going, let's go. And also the fact that they just go back and forth between the, like, not exactly calling each other out, but kind of. Another, honestly and truly one of my favorite scenes for their relationship, which again, that's very, very big thing to say, was at the fan meet and greet where they were signing stuff, and Jinu gets the drawing from the little girl.
Oh, so cute. Shout out to
Which, first of
Child.
all, I felt like crying when
Also, I apologize.
That scene happened.
I'm experiencing allergies. I'm not, like, this emotional about it.
I'm closer to being more emotional about it. But he gets the drawing, and he's previously talked about the voice of Gleema that he hears in his ear, and about the voices, and basically he's tired of listening to them. He wants them to go away. And Rumi says about maybe you should focus on the voices in the paper, not the one in your head. And it was so cute.
Mm.
And not only just cute, but also it was so real. It was such a heavy moment because of the substance of what it was.
Right. And you can see with Rumi, like, interacting with Ginu and stuff, and her, like, softening up toward him, you can see how that's affecting her decisions, and therefore how it's affecting Huntrix as a whole. You know, because, like, with, like, the song Takedown that they were going to sing, she, like, it didn't feel right
like
to
the
her.
lyrics weren't right, and
you
it's
know,
too negative.
And she was, like, questioning the things that they were doing, and so there really was, like, this movie was so actions have consequences. And, like, some things obviously were resolved. Like, Huntrix got back together, you know, fairly quickly after
the disband.
Rumi was revealed to be part demon, but, I mean, Gino died, so...
I don't believe he's dead.
Well, okay. In the context of the film.
I have faith.
Okay. You may write the writers.
I might. But the fact that their closing song was This Is What It Sounds Like, I think was
That was really good.
beautiful, because I also saw a thing, I'm not going to take credit for this, but I did see a thing on the internet talking about how parts of Ginu's lyrics in Your Idol are almost like they're sung to Rumi. And there are parts of This Is What It Sounds Like where it's like Rumi's almost singing to Ginu. Of kind of, like, because Your Idol, Ginu says, basically, I'm the only one that can love your sins. Like, he says that I'm the only one that can understand.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and then in This Is What It Sounds Like, she's like, we don't have to keep lying. Like, just basically, like, this is what it feels like to be free. And she wants that for him. She wants him to be free. She said, as Ginu is giving up his soul to her, I wanted to set you free. And she did.
Also, I have, like, a love-hate relationship with the fact that they didn't kiss.
I'm glad... I'm torn, because I'm glad
That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad they didn't, because it means that their relationship didn't feel too quick. Like...
They've known each other... Actually, how much time do you think passed?
I have no idea. Maybe, like, 2 weeks, something like that. Maybe more? Less?
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I mean, like, they very clearly cared about each other a lot.
I know they said...
they weren't at that point.
I know some of the people working on the movie said there was a kiss scene. It was a deleted scene. But they took it out for the purpose of they didn't want it to feel too rushed.
Cheap.
They wanted it to
Forced,
really
cliche.
to really feel like basically there was more to grow than just like, okay, they got their kiss and now you can die.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's not like it's not the end all and be all of...
Yeah, but it was written, it was animated, they did go for it and were thinking about it, and then they ultimately took it out. I, however, am a sap and a romantic at heart, and I love when the characters finally get to kiss, so I was a little disappointed that they didn't. But their song Free, I think, is it's them. Like, as a song, it's them. It's just so fitting with them being like, I don't understand why and I shouldn't, but I feel like I can be me around you. And
that song really was, like, it's a turning point.
Underrated as well.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's definitely popping off with Soda Pop, which 100% makes sense. That song is an earworm and is great. Definitely feels the most, like, K-pop-y out of the selection. I am obsessed with it.